Hey guys, welcome back to the DrCliffAuD vlog. This is vlog number 131, and as promised, today I'm going to be talking about the progress that we have been making with the podcast. And before I get into it, if you could do me a huge favor, click that like button. You know it helps out my channel. And if you are not yet subscribed and you like these types of vlogs and other structured content about hearing loss and treatment options, make sure that you hit that subscribe button with notification bell. With that out of the way, I really appreciate it. Now let's go ahead and talk about this last week. And there's some, really good news and some really kind of like weird news. And I'll start with the weird stuff first. So as you know, when we moved into our last podcast location, it was like, 2 miles away from our current clinic. We ran into some issues with them saying that we were being too loud and playing music really loudly and things like that. And we were totally not playing any music. We took our stuff in, shut the door, started setting stuff up. And so that was a huge red flag. And on top of that, the listing for that location said that they had high-speed internet. Now, the typical norm out there in the world is that when you consider speeds of like 20 to 25 megabytes per second, that is considered high-speed internet. And we were getting like 2 to 3 megabytes per second of essentially download speed and then like 1 megabyte of upload speed. That was not fast enough for us to be able to do a live podcast. And we really want to do a live video podcast because we want to field questions and stuff like that. Have some people calling in, asking questions that way, have video guests on in live time, in real time. And so we really need faster high-speed internet. So the combination of having that space with people complaining that we're making noise and not having access to high-speed internet, we'd have to record every show and post it after the fact, and we wouldn't be able to do any live Q&A with people watching the show. We just decided to, let's just terminate that lease. So we called it terminate the lease, and the leasing agent's like, well, no, you're probably gonna have to pay another month. And I'm like, pay another month? First and foremost, you don't have what you said you had on the listing, which was high-speed internet. And I don't think anyone would consider having 2 to 3 megabytes per second as being high-speed internet. So basically they lied in their listing to get someone to lease the space, at least that's how I see it. So yeah, I'm definitely not paying another month's rent. They can have the money that we already gave them. We're already out like $850 for that space, and we literally did nothing there, but you live and you learn, right? So a couple of years ago, I was looking for office space in the area to get, something more permanent. But I ended up stumbling across this executive office suite. Now, if you know me at all, you know that my first clinic up in Anthem, Arizona, I rented an executive office suite to start at my clinic. And so I was like, I wonder if that same location that I was looking at before has some extra spaces, because there is not a whole lot of options for spaces in the Phoenix area right now. And I know that's surprising because I thought commercial space was going to become massively available, but no one is doing subleasing of just small spaces inside of their commercial spaces. And so that was a problem. And when I looked on, honestly, Craigslist to find this listing for this Union Hills Center or something like that, I didn't see them on there. And so I was like, man, what was the name of that facility? And I couldn't remember it was the name of the Union Hill Center at that point. But I did some Google searching to find some businesses that were in that area. I clicked on them. I found out that, their listing says that they're in the Union Hill Center. So I'm like, okay, let's Google Union Hill Center. So I ended up finding this particular center, and I ended up it said that it had no available spaces for lease. I'm like, bummer. Well, let me just call the leasing agent just to see, or the property manager just to see. So I called the number on the listing, and it's not even the active property manager. I'm asking for a space to lease. He's like, where are you looking for? I'm like, Union Hill Center. He's like, I haven't managed that property in 2 years. And so I'm thinking like, well, what the heck? Your name is on the website currently, and they haven't changed it in 2 years. So I ended up going back to the website, seeing if I could find another number to call. I found a different number to call. I called them. They actually were the leasing agent or the property manager. I don't know why I keep saying leasing agent. But I asked them like, hey, do you have any rooms available? And they're like, well, we have 2 rooms available. We have a single room and we have a double room. And I'm like, okay, well, can I come over today, like right now, to come see the spaces, because I might want to lease them and lease them immediately, because I really want to get this podcast stuff set up and going. So I ended up, they agreed. They said at like 9:30 in the morning. It just so happens I didn't have a patient at 9:30, and this place is like a mile away. It gets even closer than what the other location was. We just have to kind of cross over the highway. So we drive over there. I drive over there with my extern Kelsey and my wife Ashley to take a look at this space. And we walk in, and it's the perfect space. There's an entryway and a first room, and it's a pretty good sized room to where we could actually set up different recording equipment in there as well. And then it has a middle space, which is kind of like a cabinet slash desk area where we can set up, the modem and have any type of stuff that we need storage wise inside of there for camera equipment, lighting, whatever the case may be. And then you have a really big back area. And I'm like, this is perfect to have our podcast area set up. And, for hearing care professionals who are watching this, my big rule for content creation is to have a dedicated space that you can leave set up at all times. So like this room that I'm in right now, this is my third bedroom inside of my house. This wall has acoustic tiles. The other wall is the gray wall that you see in my YouTube videos. But it's really easy for me just to pop the camera back and forth to give kind of a different look. And all I got to do is walk in, put a battery in the camera, put an SD card in the camera, hit record, start talking, right? So it's very simple when you can have a dedicated space. But here's the thing, that space is like really expensive compared to the other space. I'm talking three times? Yeah, about 3 times more expensive than the other space. But there's significantly more room, and there's way more space for us to do different things. And I'm really actually excited about it. So we ended up very quickly, they needed to get like our financials and all of that stuff to determine if they even wanted to lease to us. And, it ended up taking a little bit longer than what we wanted to, because here we are, we're like trying to get set up. We have promotional shoots that we had to do, which we actually did this past week, and I'll talk about that. But we had a lot of stuff that we needed to get done. And so we were trying to get everything moved in on a Friday of, let's see, today. So a week ago, this past Friday, so about 9 days ago from now, we wanted to get everything moved in. Well, we were not able to get moved in by the end of the day Friday, so we actually had to move in first thing on Monday morning. And here's the other thing. We had Promotional Shoot. Actually, we had them coming to the professional podcast crew, or the professional production company, coming in on Tuesday of this last week to get a feel for the space and to answer any questions and see what the layout would potentially be and all of that. And we wanted to be somewhat ready with having the desk and the chairs and the TV and the lighting and all of that stuff so they could actually see what they were working with. And we barely moved in the day before, and even when they showed up, everything was not set up perfectly. But I had Kelsey and Dr. Cook start painting the wall inside of there. We really picked a cool color. It's called Naval. It was actually like the Sherwin-Williams paint color of the year in 2020. I don't know why or how they determined that, but it really is a cool color, and you can see it here in the photos I'm sharing with you. And so they got most of the wall painted. They were able to go back in Tuesday and finish up kind of the top of that wall. And then on Wednesday, we kind of really didn't do anything. We were kind of waiting for the wallpaper to come in. We had ordered wallpaper the week before because we want to have kind of where the walls converge into a corner. We want to have a blue wall that's that navy color, that naval color, and then the other wall having a wallpaper on there. And the wallpaper was delayed like 3 days. And here we are, we need to do Promotional Shoot on Thursday. And we finally just barely get the wallpaper on Wednesday evening. Dr. Cook had to go pick it up at Lowe's. And the first thing in the morning, I'm like, okay, well, Dr. Cook, you're gonna have to go with Kelsey, our extern, to go and actually wallpaper the wall and get everything else set up, because we have Promotional Shoot at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so we barely got done in enough time for that Promotional Shoot. I came over at like 10:45 or so, maybe even a few minutes after that. Fortunately, like I said, it's like 2 minutes or less away from the clinic if you catch the light crossing over the highway. And we barely got it set up in time. And we had to all kind of like bring, different versions of clothes so they could take different photos of us. We got some different headshot photos and group photos. And then we also got some footage of us actually doing promo videos promoting the show. that's going to be starting. And I do have a start date for that. We are targeting Wednesday, August 17th at 4 o'clock p.m. Arizona time. So Arizona time right now is kind of like Pacific time because Arizona doesn't change time zones and everyone else does. So in the fall, it's actually going to shift where we become Mountain Time and everyone else's time outside of Arizona is going to shift. But it's kind of exciting. We barely got it set up in time to do that promo shoot. We still have some more work to do in there. We've got to do some hair lights. We've got to do some backlights. We have to, actually, 2 of the stands that I have in this room are going to go there, and I'm going to bring 2 of their stands back here because I have some really nice stands for my lighting in here that can raise the lighting up really, really high, and they need the lighting to be more up towards the ceiling and shining down on us. So we're going to be able to do that. But it's just really cool to see this new space and how it's coming together. Of course, I'm showing you some of these videos and footage right now of the promotional shoot, but it will be much nicer looking when we get it all done. We have a TV as well we're going to be sticking in the corner that we're going to be able to have, like if we have guests joining us in on the podcast, we're going to be able to put them up on the screen. It'll be really cool. The other thing here is that I am working really hard to get sponsors for this because it is going to cost about $1,500 for us to produce a single episode, and we're going to be doing 4 episodes a month. So that is a significant financial commitment to actually do. If we don't get enough sponsors, I'm basically just going to be footing all of that bill myself. But I really want this. This is something that we do not have inside of the hearing industry. I mean, we do have some podcasts, but we don't have any like professionally produced video podcasts that takes Q&A from consumers. A lot of the podcasts we have are directed towards hearing care professionals, which is totally cool, and I follow some of them myself, and I do think that there are some really good podcasts out there in the hearing space, but this one's going to be totally unique, and I really feel like it's something that's needed to get people's questions answered. But here, I think that we're going to have some luck. And so this is really what I would ask from you, is that when I'm promoting these sponsors inside of the podcast, just understand that that happens to make this podcast exist, right? If we end up going a significant chunk of time and we don't get sponsors to help support the cost of everything to run the show has to stop. And so if it ends up being something that you like, make sure that you show essentially appreciation to the sponsors that are on the channel. My other alternative is starting something like a Patreon or something like that, to where you guys could donate a few bucks a month to help curb the cost of running the podcast. And that might be something that we have to do if we don't get enough sponsors. But I have a feeling that, I have sponsors already for my regular YouTube videos, and I'm hoping that these same companies will come to bat for me and really help me out with this new podcast, because I think that's something that, like I said, I think it's really needed, and I think it's something that's going to be really exciting. It's going to be kind of the launching pad for Dr. Rachel Cook. I think that she is unbelievable in terms of her knowledge and her passion for what we're doing inside of the clinic from a hearing treatment perspective. And she has a great personality too. And when we were doing the promo shoots on this last week, you could tell that she has the personality to be really engaging and interacting. And I think that we need a really strong voice from a female perspective. And I think that Dr. Rachel Cook can actually bring that and deliver that to the table, bring it to the table and deliver that. So I'm really excited, and I just think that this stuff is fun. I think that being on camera obviously is something I've grown more and more accustomed to, and any time that I have the ability to create more value for you guys and to educate you more and to let you know what I'm thinking about certain situations, I just really have grown to enjoy that. The only negative is that I'm going to be stepping back a little bit more in clinic, because I have all these other projects going on, podcast being one of them. So I'm basically going to be in the clinic 3 days a week instead of 4 days a week. Back when I first started, as you know, I was in the clinic 5 days a week. So I'm starting to taper off. My appointment availabilities are going to be more limited, but I've really got the other audiologists on the staff. I'm getting them trained up really well to be able to provide an extremely high quality level of care, which I'm super proud of. In fact, we're able to help more people because I have taken my belief structure and passed it on to other audiologists and have provided them with enough support to be able to provide a top level of care. Because a lot of clinics, the biggest issue is that providers are not given the resources or the time to provide best practice, person-centered care, and that is something that we've done inside of our clinic. But that is a topic for a totally different vlog video. But I really appreciate you guys for watching through this vlog. Again, super excited for the podcast. Let me know if you have questions in the description below, if you have ideas that you want to have me talk about during the show, or if you think that you'd be interested in being a call-in guest on the show, just make sure that you let me know down in the description, and we'll reach out to you and see if it's something that's a good fit to actually come on the show and be on the big screen TV, or actually come in person. So that's totally an option, which is totally crazy. But I appreciate it again, guys, and as always, I'll see you next week.